In Osun, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is to begin the distribution of permanent voter cards to those that registered between June and December 2021. The State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Abdul Ghani Oraji, declared open a voter education implementation workshop held in Osogbo. Rafiu Hamid has more.
Preparations are already in top gear to ensure a credible Osun State governorship election. Here are electoral and assistant electoral officers from all the local governments that make up the state invited to be part of this workshop. INEC's Director of Voter Education speaks on the motive behind the workshop.
There is no gainsaying that voter education and enlightenment are critical to the mobilization and effective participation of voters in the electoral process. We all know that the public depends on INEC for information regarding the electoral process to help them not only to participate, but to reaffirm their confidence in the readiness and ability of the Commission to conduct free, fair, credible, inclusive, and acceptable election.
Professor Abdul Ghani Oraji says over 370,000 permanent voter cards produced between 2011 and 2018 are yet to be collected.
Permanent voters card, we have quite a lot of them with us that have not been collected. Even up till now, we also don't know the reason why we have that apathy, why people are not coming to collect, despite all the necessary publicity that we are making. We have over 370,000 permanent voters card for those between 2011 and 2018 that are yet to be collected.
He assures residents of the state of credible election in July. The participants are now well equipped and are expected to go back to their various local governments to implement what they've been taught.
While going out to conduct voter education program, we must be able to identify the uniqueness, the cultural affinity, the moral standing of the society.
We must understand adequately our context and concept of voter education. So, secondly, we are to map out our strategies in accordance with the culture and traditions of that locality.
State coordinators of the National Orientation Agency, NOA, the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, and the state chairman of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, also made their presentations at the event. Rafiu Hamid.
Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, says more than 20,000 Nigerian women and young girls are still trapped in Mali in forced prostitution and labor and are willing to come home. Director General revealed this at the 25th National Stakeholders Consultative Forum on Human Trafficking in Abuja. He stated that the federal government is committed to ending this scourge and has unveiled a national action plan and policy documents to achieve this. Moyo Thomas reports.
The Vice President of Nigeria has launched 3 policy documents. These policies will address gaps that have made it difficult to end trafficking in persons in Nigeria. NAPTIP at the event reveals that a total of 17,636 victims of human trafficking have so far been rescued, with about 394 repatriated in 2022. The agency also says it has recorded 509 convictions since its establishment, 13 of which were done this year and 261 currently ongoing. The Vice President, who was represented at the well-attended event, especially by heads of agencies and the diplomatic community, says the scourge is further encouraged by economic downturn, but government social investment programs can help address this.
To prevent human trafficking, we need to address poverty, underdevelopment, and a lack of equal opportunity, which means we have to invest more in people, especially the young and the disadvantaged.
It is no longer news that human trafficking is the second largest criminal industry across the globe, And our dear country, unfortunately, is rated as a country of origin, transit, and destination for that crime. Unfortunately, human trafficking constitutes a serious threat to human national and international security.
The DG of NAPTIP assures of efforts at eliminating trafficking in persons.
NAPTIP has concluded partnership with Facebook and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in the United States to set up Amber Alert Nigeria, where Facebook sends alerts to targeted Facebook community to help find missing children in Nigeria on time, real time.
Forcibly displaced persons and people with disabilities have also been identified as easy targets and victims of this dastardly act. These 3 documents launched today will not only help in combating the scourge of trafficking, but also in prosecuting offenders across the country if adequately implemented. Moya Thomas, TVC News, Abuja.
Actions are still trailing the unfortunate incident in Imo State, where an explosion at the site of an illegal refinery killed more than 100 persons. The state government held a mass burial for the victims, but the question of safety of residents as regards putting an end to incidents such as this is still a main cause of concern. The National Emergency Management Agency has declared that no fewer than 110 people lost their lives to the inferno, as many of the victims were burnt beyond recognition. Joining me now for more on the implication of this incident is security expert Bess Johnson. Thank you for joining us on TVC News at 7. As it is, the government appears to be paying lip service to the issue of illegal refinery. And here we are, one incident claiming over 100 lives. What do you consider realistic remedies now to this issue, especially as regarding the protection of lives and property? If you can hear me, Mr. Johnson, I am asking what you consider realistic remedies to this issue, especially as it has to do with the protection of lives and property.
Well, good evening, and thank you for having me. First and foremost, let me condolences to... I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you.
So families are affected. Yes, I like to extend my condolences to all the families that were affected, both in Ebema, Imo State and Ebema River State, and from other states, including neighboring states like Bayelsa, Delta, and other people, including security agents and all the people that were affected. Look, the issue of oil theft by host communities is just a symptom of a much deeper and larger problem, and that's an economic negligence in the community for over half a century. The first oil was discovered in Ebema in 1956. The first well that was dug became operational in 1958. From that time to date, if you go to that place, you will see there are no roads.